Hello everybody, thanks for tuning in to my YouTube channel. My name is Brian Williams, the Experienced Beginner. And that comes from the fact that I do have experience on a motorcycle, but from a Harley-Davidson standpoint, I'm still a beginner. I've been riding sport bikes for about 15 years, started out with Hondas, Kawasaki's, Suzuki's, and then stopped riding for about 20 years and picked up this 2023 Road Glide and been doing a journey, obviously, of dumping money into a Harley-Davidson like everybody else does. So I'm going to do a quick walk around of some of the things that I've done and some of the pieces that I put on, and kind of walk through my process of upgrades and maybe a few things that I have planned for the future for the bike. And hopefully you'll be able to glean some of the pieces and some of the things that I've done, and hopefully it'll help you in your journey as well. So stay tuned and we'll jump right into some of the details on the bike. Thanks for tuning in. All right, so we'll jump right in with, kind of logically going through some of the things that's been done. Starting off with the lights. I know this may be a little hard to see from the way the LEDs show up on the camera, but one of the first things that I did was the headlight, because I didn't think the factory headlights really had enough, enough luminance for night riding and things like that. So I went with the Attack headlight from Advanblack. And there were two purposes for this, really. One, of course, I wanted to get more light, but secondly, I knew I was going to do an audio system, and the Attack headlight kind of gives you, it's kind of a flat back surface, so it allows you to be able to mount more amplifiers, racks, things of that nature, or whatever you're trying to put in the fairing into the fairing. So that worked out really well. I went with it's kind of hard to see, but the Custom Dynamics LED turn lights. Really like those. I think those show up really well. So that was a good, choice right there. From lights on the back, it's all Custom Dynamics with the back saddlebag lights, and then of course the small lights right there beside the fender, as well as the LEDs that you have there. Both on the side, the two round LEDs. And then on the bottom, you've got, of course, the Custom Dynamics brake light, and they're hooked up to the Magic to where it vibrates or flashes whenever you press and you got multiple different things you can utilize for the lights, a lot of different flash patterns. The lights have been amazing. I love all of the Custom Dynamics products that I have on my bike. So, there's tons of videos out there on Custom Dynamics lights, a lot more than what I have. So take a look at that if you're thinking about some lighting upgrades for your motorcycle. So moving on from the lights, let's take a look at the body. Starting off from the front, I swapped out the factory fender. I had the regular factory fender on, put the 19-inch Advanblack wrap fender. I thought that looked a lot better. It showcases a lot more of the wheel. I found these on Amazon, these little wheel nut covers with the point on them. Worked out really well. I like the way they look, very aesthetic for the bike. Windshield, this Clockworks 9-inch windshield, works out really well. I've taken this thing from Atlanta, Georgia to San Antonio, so and back 2,000 miles. So if you don't know how well a windshield works out in 2,000 miles, then maybe you're the problem. So it works out really well. The hand guards here I got off of Amazon as well. They worked out really, really good. I used to have heated grips, but I really didn't like the heated grips. And I wanted something that was more aesthetic. So I went with the Arlen Ness smooth grips along with the bars here, which are Tab Performance Fosun Prison Series 12-inch bars. These bars have been great. Obviously, almost anything is a night and day change from the factory Harley bars, but these bars have held up really well over the past couple of years. kind of thinking about upgrading them eventually to something maybe a little closer, not T-bars, but something like maybe a hoop tees or something like that that has my hands a little closer in. But other than that, they've been really great bars, very comfortable, and you know, I really like the way they fit. I upgraded the gas cap. The gas cap, which is something basic, but you know, I found out it's not really basic. I went with the Arlen Ness originally, and it was literally seeping gas and leaking. Sent it back. They told me there was a new batch coming in. You know, it's not a dig on Arlen Ness, but it is what it is. Got the new one, still leaking. So, hey, I just went with the Harley recessed, which works out well. Don't have that problem. You will probably have to take your gloves off sometimes. At least I know that's my experience, to be able to turn it and get it off, to kind of get your fingers to grip it a little bit. But it looks really good, works well. So I really like that for the bike. On the tank, I took the original badging off. I know a lot of people are doing that. That original badging looks kind of bad. So I put these badge on. I think it looks a lot better on the bike. Also, because, like I said, I do ride. So I was getting scratches from my pants going onto the bike and stuff like that, and my riding jeans. So I put this on. It's a little leather tank bra from Harley-Davidson. It works out well to where I'm not getting scratches and things like that when I'm sitting on the bike for a long time. I know some people have told me that they've experienced dust and dirt, you know, getting up under this and really starting to irritate and scratch the tank a lot more. It hadn't been my experience. You know, I ride, you know, hundreds of miles, and I wash my bike though. A lot of people, they wash their bike like once a month. I wash my bike after I ride it. So that hasn't been my experience. I don't know, you know, your experience may vary from mine. I did a few things. Of course, you know, a heel toe shifter is great. Basic heel toe shifter from this company, I think it's NICE, if I'm not mistaken. So that really worked out. I like the heel toe shifter. I'm probably gonna upgrade that too, but this stands pretty good for what I got right now. The Santoro shift linkage is really good. I love their products, and I plan on putting a lot more of their products on the bike from the Chachos, I believe I'm pronouncing that right, and probably the shift and the brake. But Santoro, definitely solid product. I'd look into that if you were looking for a shift linkage. The little eagle right there, I like that. That's gonna get upgraded too, probably to a Barnett, but I didn't like the original one that came on the Harley, so I thought this was it looked a lot better, so I threw that on. Of course, the in-game floorboards and the passenger rear boards. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I got this from Hogworks, the back piece here, the side panel. And that works out well because originally I had, of course, stock Harley bags, and it had that little space where the Harley bags begin to dip up. And I found these bags at Viking Bags for extended bags. They fit really well with the side side covers. So I would definitely recommend that. I don't know if they're out of stock because I went to Viking Bags and I wasn't able to find them because I was looking at probably ordering an extra set, but I didn't see them in stock at this point. But, you know, it's been a solid product, held up really well, and I really like it. From the tour pack, I got the tour pack from the same place, from Viking Bags. It was an amazing thing. It was a lot cheaper than buying the Harley tour pack. Obviously, everything is a lot cheaper than buying the Harley tour pack. But, you know, it's a chopped tour pack. I kind of, you know, thought about maybe getting a king size because I was, you know, maybe going to put my helmets in there. But no, I can do a helmet lock for that. I didn't like the way the king size or the full size tour pack look. So the chop looks a lot better to me. The ones from Viking Bags, I know they have these on the site. They have this nice little cover on the inside, which has held up pretty well over the couple of years. And so if you're looking for something like that, then hey, go ahead and run over to Viking Bags, and that'll probably be a very good purchase for you. The seat, I get a lot of people asking about the seat. It is a stock Harley Road Glide seat. I have a friend of mine that does leather work, so took it over to his shop along with the back pad for the tour pack, and also the backrest for the driver. So he fitted everything with, covered it in new leather and, gave me that pattern that you see there. So I thought that looks really good. I had a second seat, a low profile seat, and had him do that seat and the pillion in the same design. So if I want to switch it out, whenever I do switch it out sometimes, then the seat, the overall look of the bike doesn't change when I switch the seat out. So, if you got a place that does custom leather or upholstery work, that's a good thought pattern. Because what I put into this, which was maybe about $450, and he did, of course, some different, kind of smooth this up a little more, put some gel on the inside. It was a lot cheaper than what I could buy, a seat online for. And he, of course, made the back portion a little wider, a little more padding. So yeah, if you can price that out from a place that can kind of build you something that you want, then that may be a better option, in my opinion, than going out and buying a seat. So after the seat, I think the last thing is like really the highway pegs. I went and got the Harley-Davidson highway peg mounts and the highway pegs. I believe they're the Kuriakin, however you pronounce that. But yeah, they work out really well. They fit to me aesthetically with the floorboards, and I really like them. So jumping into that, I haven't done a ton of performance upgrades to the bike. I have just the stage 1 on the 114. So I've got the extreme wedge cleaner on the bike. I did get an oil pressure gauge from A1 Cycles. I like that a lot. I think there's, I think it's Fibonacci or something designs. It's a magnetic oil cap or and rod. So it works really well. I've seen some small pieces, and I'm not out there crazy doing some of the things that some people are doing, but I've seen some small flex or whatever that is picked up. So obviously it works out well. It looks well on the bike. I like the different colors that they have. So I definitely recommend looking into that. Other than that, I've got, just as I said, the stage 1. So the Tab Performance 50 cal with the zombie baffles. Love the way they sound, very throaty on the bike. So obviously it's a very unique sound. If you're not doing like a 2-in-1 or something like that, and you just want to do slip-ons, I would definitely recommend the Tab Performance slip-ons. I've been very happy with them. Other than that, I did put the Screaming Eagle tuner on the bike. So of course it's under here. Some people got away with, or can get away with, putting on a cleaner and then putting on slip-ons, and to them the bike runs fine. To me, the bike was running rich. So, and I didn't want that at all. Obviously nobody wants that unless there's something wrong with the way you think, but I didn't want the bike running rich. I didn't really want to go with like a professional tune for stage 1. Maybe later on, obviously later on when I do a cam, maybe some like a 128 or something like that, then obviously I want to get it professionally tuned. But for stage 1, the Screaming Eagle really worked out for my needs. In addition to that, which is under here, I threw the Turo Fastmax 5.0. And I mean, that throttle difference when I threw that on is night and day. There's a ton of videos on YouTube where you can go and take a look at that. But, for me, it definitely was a huge difference throwing that Turo on. So the last piece of this is the audio system. The audio system. I went through a few different iterations of audio systems from just, I had a set of tweeters that I bought from Walmart and kind of, hooked those up and put them into the grills there. And I thought that gave me a little more highs. That was my basic system out of the box, because I have, extensive system in my car. I've got an extensive system in my truck. I love audio. I've always loved audio. I'm a 90s Gen Z kid. So, I had the Suburban with the 215s in it. That was me shaking your windows early in the morning. So I love audio. So I was deciding, I knew I didn't want just a basic rider system. So I went through, of course, all those upgrades. If you see over in the corner, there's a 8-inch in the fairing bracket, to where I had two Cicada Audio 8-inch speakers installed inside of the fairing. And that wasn't enough for me. So I needed something more than that. I stuck with the GTS radio, so still got the GTS. And I went with a couple of different things. I'll start off with the amplifiers. In the fairing, I've got a BDA 2000 Cicada audio amplifier. I have an Audio Dynamics DSP EQ. And then I also have an Audio Dynamics 800.4 amp, which runs my tweeters. The BDA runs all of the 8-inch that I have, and the Audio Dynamics runs the tweeter. So I've got a set of Audio Dynamics tweeters under the dash of the radio here. I've got 6.5s installed in the fairing from Audio Dynamics. And then for the front lowers here, I went with the Voodoo Bikeworks 8-inch lowers and also the included, or the not included, the additional tweeter pods. So I've got a set of Cicada Audio 8-inch CHX 8-inch speakers in the lowers, which those have, of course, the horn drivers in them as well. And then I also have the Hertz ST35 tweeters here. Now, when you move to the back, I used to have also a set of 8-inch Cicadas in here as well, but I had to send those for repair. And I really wanted to do something a little different because I had some water getting into them. So I went with a pair of Euphoria 8-inch sealed back speakers, which actually worked out really better. I love the way the sound staging sounds with that. And I've got the Euphoria tweeters as well. And then for subwoofers in the bags are sealed. You can't really see them from here, but I've got a set of DC Audio 10-inch subwoofers in the bags, which are powered by the Sound Digital 3001. For the battery, of course, I upgraded the battery to a lithium battery. And, I've got my charger over here, and I make sure that I top that limitless off. After I ride, when I get back to the house, it's really easy. Plug that maintainer in so you can top off your battery. A lot of people complain about lithium batteries, but a lot of people are too lazy to keep their lithium batteries charged as well. So, take that with a grain of salt. And, when you have someone that's really complaining about it, ask them, are they doing the maintenance that they're supposed to do, or do they just think it's going to magically work because they want to will it to work? But in either case, the audio system, to me, sounds amazing. Some people, it may be too loud. I get that. That's your preference. For my preference, it sounds amazing. Later on, I'll probably do a video kind of doing a walk around and maybe a walk away from the audio system so you can get a full context of what it sounds like. I'm not going to do that inside of my garage right now because, I'm in a good relationship with the HOA and I don't want to get a letter in the mail. So, later on, we'll do that, walk around, and kind of give you full context of what that audio system sounds like. But until then, thanks for tuning into the channel. Look forward for more videos coming. And as always, keep it down on two wheels. Take care.